Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopefully elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian, and Haitians. Gotta give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Brakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well. And a sincere salutation to all the Ark pushing their truth throughout the four winds of the earth, waking up the hopefully elect. Shalom to the Uproars who are listening and learning. I'm Isaiah, coming at you another lesson of truth, facts, faith, and edification. And this is just news updates from yesterday. News updates that you don't get on the local news, on the regular news. So Lord's willing to be edifying.
I'm Doc Burkhardt. I'm Kerry Kinsey. It's Monday, July 22nd, 2019, and these are your uncensored news headlines. American celebrity Dr. Drew Pinsky says that Los Angeles faces an outbreak of bubonic plague. That's because of the growth of a homeless population and the failure of authorities to deal with rodent problems and piling up garbage.
Dr. Drew says he predicted the typhus outbreak in LA 18 months ago. That's carried by rats, transferred by fleas to pets, and from pets to humans. Bubonic plague, like typhus, is endemic to the region and can spread from humans to rodents and in a similar fashion. Pinsky says the health issue could be much worse than that. He made those comments on Real Coffee with Scott Adams on Periscope. Watch this.
The last outbreak of bubonic plague was in Los Angeles because it is also an endemic organism here. We have the rickettsial diseases like Rocky Mountain spotted fever and typhus, and we have Yersinia pestis, bubonic plague. It's in the squirrels. It gets onto the rats. When the rats proliferate, it gets onto the human. The last outbreak was in the 1920s. It was only because of some heroic efforts by a group of physicians that it didn't become a massive problem. It killed everyone who came in contact with the case zero. And we now have somewhere between 12 and 20 million rats in Los Angeles. And one of the only cities in the country has no rodent control plan. None. And if you look at the pictures of Los Angeles, you will see that the homeless encampments are surrounded by dumps. People defecate there, they throw their trash there, and the rats just proliferate there.
And that's going on all over California, man, all over Los Angeles, man. Okay? That's going on all over the world, man. Homeless people are doing this everywhere, man. This is 2 Ezra 15 and 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. And this is prophecy, man. Pestilence is a part of prophecy. Which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Okay? This is prophecy, man. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world. He said what? The bubonic plague, man. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Okay? Who hurtful works, man? The wicked. Esau, Edom. Okay? And Babylon the Great, virgin daughter Babylon. And the hurtful works of Esau, Edom is fulfilled, and it has fallen upon who, man? 2/3 of Israel. Because they follow these devils, man. Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and the righteous both cry unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually, man. Okay? That's why the Lord said, set a mark on them that sigh and cry for all abomination that be done in the midst thereof. In Ezekiel 9 and 4, man. And therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them, the elect, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Listen, man, that's going on now here in Babylon the Great, man. This is spiritually Egypt and Sodom and the Roman Empire and Babylon, okay?
The bubonic plague swept through Europe, Africa, and Asia in the 14th century, which wiped out 60% of the European population. Dr. Giroux blames organizations like the ACLU that have blocked government officials from rounding up drug addicts and those with mental health problems who comprise much of the homeless population.
Jeremiah 28:8. The prophet that have been before me and before thee of old, both prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence, man. And you heard what he just said, man. This spread it heavy, man. Okay? This bubonic plague, man.
While meeting with reporters today in the White House, President Trump told a Pakistani reporter that he thinks there's tremendous potential in the U.S.-Pakistani relationship. But then he hinted at a potential role in neighboring Afghanistan before adding he could win the war in that nation in only a week, but at a very steep price.
The prize is Edomites all I have to see them, man.
We wanted to fight a war in Afghanistan and win it. I could win that war in a week. I just don't want to kill 10 million people. Does that make sense to you?
That's the prize of Edomites, man.
I have plans on Afghanistan that if I wanted to win that war, Afghanistan would be wiped off the face of the earth. It would be gone. It would be over in literally in 10 days.
And you devils, you 2/3 J trying to say Esau, talking about he Jaffe or he the Arab. Man, look at this Edomite, man. If this ain't telling you how red, look at how red this devil is, man. Okay? These so-called white people are the Edomites, man. If you niggas can't see that, you niggas is stupid, man.
And I don't want to do that. I don't want to go that route. So we're working with Pakistan and others to extricate ourselves.
Iran said it arrested 17 Iranians on charges of spying for the U.S. They say the men were trained by the CIA and were trying to collect classified information. This comes weeks after a growing tension in the region. Last Friday, Iran seized a British-flagged oil tanker in the Persian Gulf.
But President Trump maintains the Iranian claims are not true. In a tweet this morning, he wrote, "The report of Iran capturing CIA spies is totally false. Zero truth. Just more lies and propaganda like their shot-down drone put out by a religious regime that is badly failing and has no idea what to do. Their economy is dead and will get much worse. Iran is a total mess."
Iran claims the British tanker Stena Impero rammed an Iranian fishing vessel and didn't stop or respond to distress calls in violation of maritime laws. According to state-run television reports, all 23 members of the crew, including 3 Russians, are safe and will remain at the Bandar Abbas port while the alleged incident remains under investigation. But in the meantime, the tanker's British flag has been replaced with the Iranian standard.
Iran's ambassador to the UK says domestic political forces are attempting to escalate the existing tensions beyond the issue of ships, but this would be quite dangerous and unwise, he says. He added Iran is firm and ready for different scenarios. Prime Minister Theresa May of the UK has convened yet another meeting of her COBRA Emergency Committee to discuss a possible response.
Saudi Arabia's Foreign Minister Adel Al-Jubeir says any attack on the freedom of navigation is a violation of international law. He says Iran must realize its acts of intercepting ships, including most recently the British ship, are completely unacceptable. The world community, he says, must take action to deter such behavior.
Shocking story out of Israel today. Israeli forces began demolishing Palestinian homes near a military barrier on the outskirts of Jerusalem on Monday in the face of protests and international criticism. Emily Weather reports.
Israeli forces demolishing Palestinian homes is a common occurrence, but these latest bulldozers are particularly controversial. These homes in Sur Beher, a Palestinian village on the edge of East Jerusalem, sit near the military barrier, and Palestinians fear the raising of buildings near the fence will set a precedent for other towns along the route of it. It runs for hundreds of kilometers around and through the Israeli-occupied West Bank. Despite protests and international criticism, Israeli forces cut through a wire section of the barrier under cover of darkness early on Monday and began clearing residents. Israel's Supreme Court ruled the structures violated a construction ban and, as it was close to the barrier, could provide cover for attackers. Palestinians disagreed.
These houses are permitted by the Palestinian Ministry of Local Government because they are located in Area A, so the residents have permits to build here. Now the permits are being violated by the Israeli occupation forces, this military which doesn't care about either international law or human law and doesn't respect or care about any human ethics.
The Palestinian Prime Minister said they'd complained to the International Criminal Court. The demolitions were condemned by the EU. It's just the latest round of protracted wrangling over the future of Jerusalem.
This is Habakkuk. Salaki, this is Micah. This is Micah chapter 2 and verse 2. And it reads, and they covet, I'm going to read 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in their power of their hand. Which is who? The Edomites, man. Okay, the earth was given to the hand of the wicked. Job 9:24. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Look what these devils is doing, man. Okay? The Edomites, man. They are the destroyers of this planet, man. They are the destroyers, man. That's what they do, man. Over there destroying the Palestinians, man. And it ain't their land neither, man. Okay?
President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, travels to the Middle East next week for discussions about the deal of the century peace plan. However,
now that's what I was talking about. The peace plan. Okay? They're trying to put together, see the whole thing of them doing all this back and forth with Iran and Russia and Venezuela and North Korea and China and the trade wars. All this is to bring about this peace plan, man. Okay? So they can say we got peace. They're going to push peace. Then they're going to push the chip, which is the RFID. Okay? The mark of the beast is RFID microchip. And then they're going to push war, man. See, these devils are using all this propaganda so they can push this peace plan, man.
Rumours is reporting that while the economic aspects of the peace plan are the principal focus of those meetings, recent developments with Iran and tensions in the Persian Gulf will also be addressed.
Western strategists still underestimate the threat posed by China's emergence as a worldwide power. That's according to a top Pentagon official. Speaking last weekend at the Aspen Security Forum, Undersecretary of Defense for Foreign Policy John Root had this to say about the emerging threats against the United States.
I'm going to read this before I move on. 1 Thessalonians 5:3. But when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So their whole agenda, man, is to push peace, man. Okay? They gonna say we was all back and forth, you know, going through different confrontations, but we settled all our affairs, and we all have a peace agreement. We all have signed it, meaning all the different nations of Esau, Edom, and the other heathen nations. And then they're going to create the peace agreement, the peace plan, and they're going to push the chip, man. Because they got to convince the world that we was warring against each other, but now we are all together as one. Okay? The one world government, the new world order. And then they're going to push the RFID microchip.
We are in the midst of a tremendously complex and consequential period in the security environment around the world. We talked for the last 20 years about this unprecedented rate of change. Well, guess what? That unprecedented rate of change has occurred, and we are now in that new world in which the specter of conflict and competition among the world's largest powers or great powers has come back. And when we look at the world and sort of ruthlessly triage what our biggest concerns are around the world, top of the list is China, in terms of the one country, the largest country, with the ability to change our way of life in the United States and to change the global order.
See what this devil talking about, man? The New World Order, the one world government, man. Okay? These devils think they slick, man. And if you don't have a spiritual eye, you will not see through this madness, man.
For good or ill.
See?
Now, this comes amid a Wall Street Journal report that China will be granted exclusive access to Cambodia's Ream naval base on the Gulf of Thailand. Cambodian Prime Minister Nguyen Sen, however, claimed the report was the worst ever made-up news against his country, adding the hosting foreign military bases would violate his country's constitution.
Disturbing images out of Hong Kong today as protests against the government's extradition bill had already turned violent, prompting police to fire tear gas and rubber bullets when a third faction joined the fray on Sunday. Now, dozens were injured when young men clad in white shirts, as you see here on this video, believed to be members of the Triad Crime Organization, began beating anyone wearing black, a color worn by pro-freedom demonstrators.
A local government there, Doc, denounced the new violence, but a Hong Kong lawmaker who was wounded in the face said police on the scene ignored his pleas to step in and help stop the attacks.
We have a new update on a story True News has been covering for many years. We told you recently about investigators and their renewed interest for finding the missing Italian girl Emanuela Orlandi. And they found bones in a Vatican cemetery. Now, a break in the 30-year-old case came via a tip just a couple weeks ago. But now several outlets are reporting that they found, get this, thousands of bones from potentially dozens of people, all of which are now being dated. Those that appear to be the most recent will undergo DNA analysis in hopes of resolving the team's disappearance. Well, we'll discuss this in greater detail during the panel discussion on tonight's Godcast, so stay tuned for that.
Looking forward to that, Doc. Last month, Russia's president sat down for a one-on-one conversation with Oliver Stone, including alleged interference in the 2016 U.S. presidential election. Now, the Kremlin has released a full transcript, including one exchange in which President Putin and Mr. Stone discuss a possible ongoing coup taking place right here in the U.S. We'll have an update on this exchange later in the program when Rick Wiles joins our Godcast.
Well, the Pentagon has let slip that the Army is currently engaged in a top-secret mission in Washington, D.C. involving 10 Black Hawk helicopters and active duty and reserve soldiers. The Pentagon document confirmed that members of an assault helicopter company are on a, quote, classified mission, unquote, quote, and will be flying around the city, black helicopters around the capital city. The mission was exposed in a $2.5 billion quote, reprogramming, unquote, request, reprogramming, that will allow the Defense Department to spend previously appropriated tax money on new priorities.
Yeah. That's them drills, man. These devils think they slick, man. These devils doing drills, man. Okay, they're preparing for martial law, man. That's what they doing, man. They doing drills, preparing for martial law, man.
Doc, and according to the request, a new special compartmented information facility, which is used to view top secret classified information, will also be constructed at Davison Army Airfield at Fort Belvoir, Virginia. That's just outside of Washington, D.C. An Army spokesman declined to give any details about the mission other than to say it would continue for an undetermined duration. Where in the world is Jeffrey Epstein's handler, Ghislaine Maxwell? Well, a new political report says convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein was connected with Bill Clinton, President Bill Clinton, through his longtime associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, who became a very close personal friend of Chelsea Clinton. Now, according to the report, Ms. Maxwell became relatively intimate, that was their words, with the entire Clinton family, which opened the door for Mr. Epstein to become connected with them. True News continues to follow the developments in the Epstein child trafficking scandal. And at the southern border, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol admits that in the first 30 months of the Trump administration, not one single mile of new barrier, wall, fence, whatever you want to call it, has been erected. Rather, all 51 miles of new construction have merely replaced existing fence line that have become dilapidated.
Well, facing continued media-led backlash over his comments about Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and 3 other freshman members of the House of Representatives, President Trump decided to double down on his criticism of the squad. In a new tweet Sunday, he wrote, "I don't believe the 4 congresswomen are capable of loving our country. They should apologize to America and Israel for the horrible, hateful things they have said. They're destroying the Democrat Party, but there are weak and insecure people who can never destroy our great nation." Now, the president resumed his attack on the, quote, racist group of troublemakers, unquote, today, calling them young, inexperienced, and not very smart. He added their immigration policies are bad for our country. Well, we love to hear from our viewers and listeners. We like when you share.
See, these devils, man.
So, welcome back to True News. I'm Doc Burkhart, and we're so glad that you've joined us today. Let me ask you a question. Have you prayed for us today? We really, really need your prayers at this time. We'd like for you to make that commitment to daily praying for this ministry, for Rick Walls, for Susan, for all the staff here at True News. And would you mind letting us know that you're praying for us? You're going to see our contact information up on the screen. We love hearing from you. We love that you communicate with us on a regular basis. And we would just love to know that you are interceding for us. Would you write us today? The easiest way to communicate with us is on the True News website at truenews.com. You can also communicate with us through our True News app on your smartphone. For those of you that, for whatever reason, don't like to use computer hours a day, 7 days a week, we don't take holidays or anything, you can always call us as well at 800-576-2116. That's 800-576-2116. And when you write us and let us know that you're praying for us, would you prayerfully consider supporting us financially as we continue to do the work of the Lord through news and information that you won't find anywhere else. Joining me right now here on set is True News correspondent Edward Zoll, and of course, True News founder and host Rick Walls. Welcome, Rick.
Hey, Doc, you know when I need prayer the most?
When's that?
It's about the 2 hours before we come out here on the set. I've noticed over the years that somewhere around about 2 p.m., 2 to 3 p.m., right now I see it's 4:45 p.m. Eastern Time. I just noticed that there's a wall, a spiritual wall. It's totally spiritual.
It's a lucky for all the extra renting, man.
A heaviness, a weariness. Like I'm in the morning and, at lunch and
I'm trying to get the news. I don't want to hear about all that bullshit.
And I'm cheerful. We come out here. Once you get out here,
we're back up.
We're back up. The energy's on us. But man, that last 2 hours before we walk out here.
It's like running a race that we know we can't complete without the Holy Spirit with us.
And just before we come out here, that they can tell that I'm under that attack. All right, but I've been doing this 21 years, and it's I guess I just assume it's going to happen every day. I just push through. All right, and for a long time I thought it was me. I thought it was weariness, but I've really come to the conclusion it's a satanic opposition to prevent us from coming out here under the anointing of the Lord and speaking truth. That's right. Boy, you just you do this year after year after year and see how the enemy reacts to you. We're taking on some really dark topic.
And that's spiritual, man, because a lot of brothers fall out, man. Okay? Hey, this man, 21 years, man, this man been doing this True News, man. Okay? You got Jake and the truth and the real truth do this and they fall out, man. They get tired of doing it, man. Okay? They get tired, man. You got this Edomite, he's going hard every day, man, for 21 years, man.
Here, day after day after day. I mean, we're talking about a global pedophile network that's raping and molesting and murdering children.
And we're already getting emails from people.
The group is called Nambula, man. Man and boy lover, man. Okay? It's an association, man, of pedophile elite Edomites, man.
we're going to be talking about this topic.
Until they go to prison. Until they go to prison.
Right, that's what we were talking about earlier.
Or get saved. They need to get saved.
Yeah, this is a big deal. This is a big story. This isn't something, that we should get acclimated to at all. This is something that has been going on for a while, but once again, we've seen in the past where there's an interest in this and then it dies off. We cannot back down from this. This is a global network of people harming children.
They're killing them or raping them. They're sacrificing them. And so this has become the new norm.
Right. That we're used to it.
So move on to the next topic because this is boring you? Are you serious? Is that what people are saying? We're bored, move on to another topic? So you've accepted the rape of children by powerful people, that's now normal in our society? No, that's a sign that we're more wicked than Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yes, grievous decadence. If some people, Rick, this is a hobby. They want to have their mind, the intrigue tipped to them about these little conspiracies, the evils of the world, but they don't really want to know anything about the details of it.
No.
They want to talk about it. Want to gossip about it. But this is real. This is literally the story that everyone wants to talk about. The child sex rings. This is it right here. The Epstein scandal, the scandal out of the Vatican and other places around the world.
This is the real evil in the world. This is it. And it's connected in entertainment and politics and all sorts of religious circles. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. Not just in the Catholic Church, but other circles, other religious circles too.
If the rape and murder of children does not provoke an outrage in the general public, what does? What is the topic that provokes the outrage that people say enough is enough, we're going to clean house? Well, if the rape of children doesn't do it, where do we go from there?
What moves you? What challenges you anymore? If that doesn't challenge you,
Losing access to their cell phones.
power
That's
outages.
about it. Yeah, I think you got it. But raping children doesn't. Yeah. I mean, obviously there are people concerned. They're watching us.
Right.
And we know our audience is concerned. I'm talking about the general public.
Right.
If that doesn't bother them, what does? I don't know. But we become numb.
That's the right word.
The public has become numb. That there's no outrage. Where are these world leaders demanding accountability, demanding that truth be brought out? Where is Ghislaine Maxwell?
That's the question I was asking today in headlines. Where is she?
Where's the FBI?
Yeah, and
Where's any?
the investigators in this are not the FBI. They're the Southern District of New York.
Yes.
They're the courts of New York State. They're the ones investigating this, not the FBI. Why isn't the FBI involved? Why isn't Interpol involved in it? I mean, why isn't this just the biggest thing in the world? But it's not. Why? Well, I think we know some of the reasons why.
That's right. Well, hey, we're going to get through a lot of topics here. So, first, Doc, I talked to Edward about this while you and Carrie were doing the news headlines. Story coming out of London today. London's Great Britain's foreign minister, Sir Alan Duncan, resigned today when he was outed in a plot to persuade Queen Elizabeth to reject the Parliament's selection of Boris Johnson as Prime Minister. Of course, he hasn't been selected yet, but that's going to happen any day. But there was a plot to persuade the Queen to overturn a decision of the Parliament, which is unheard of.
Sure, in a sense, it's a rejection of the Magna Carta. This is a member of Parliament. This is this man, Alan Duncan. He represents the foreign ministry sector of Europe and the Americas for his package, but he's not the sector of state, the big person might compare. This is a member of Parliament. It's like House of Representatives.
Jeremy Hunt.
Jeremy Hunt, who is sector of state.
Who is the opponent of Boris Johnson for Prime Minister.
Conservatives right now are voting behind the doors, basically, to pick between the two.
So, I mean, whether Jeremy Hunt was involved in it, we don't know. But this is drama in London tonight. That there was a plot to prevent the election of Boris Johnson as the next Prime Minister. And this seems to be the new way of politics.
It's not direct representation by voting, but by going behind everybody else and trying to figure out a sneaky way to get things done. That's right.
Clandestine elections. I mean, we the people. Most countries are not picking the politicians anymore.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's talk about Hong Kong. We've spent very little time talking about Hong Kong. For the past month, there have been ongoing protests in the streets of Hong Kong. It started over the city government. I shouldn't hold my hands like this. Somebody out there is going to say that I'm a Mason.
You're doing the Merkel.
I am doing the Merkel. Yeah, I learned this from Merkel. I'm just holding my hands. That's all. Okay. I don't want to provoke a conspiracy theory. Did you see how he was holding his hands? All right. So you think about this because you read the social media posts. I mean, people are they just go off on anything, on any topic, So the protests have been underway in Hong Kong for throughout the summer. It started over a proposed law,
An extradition bill.
that would speed up extradition or enable extradition. I don't want to run this shit. Hold on, give me time. Okay, that would give the city the authority to extradite Hong Kong residents to mainland, to Beijing. All right. Obviously, this was a law that Beijing wanted passed.
Right.
Well, there was opposition, more opposition than what the Hong Kong government expected. 1 million people? Was that the highest number?
Easily, yes.
I remember at one time they were singing Christian hymns in the streets and everything. That's several weeks ago. But since then, a lot of the protests have now turned much more active, much more violent. The city dropped it.
Yes.
They said, okay, we're not going to pass the law.
They suspended it.
Yeah. So the protesters won, but the protesters are still in the streets. And it's now becoming violent. And so a week or two ago, they stormed the city government buildings, the police department, a couple malls now, over last weekend, but this weekend, a new factor came into play. Yes, and that new factor was triad gangs. The triad in China are the mafia,
Yes.
Chinese mafia. And from what I've heard, I think the Italian mafia is afraid of the Chinese mafia. They wouldn't want to tangle with the Chinese mafia, the triads. So the triads came out in the streets yesterday and began beating protesters who were boarding subway cars.
Yeah,
And they were also beating journalists, reporters.
the main train stations, the Yuan Long MTR station.
Yeah, so now we can show this. Yeah, we can show this video now. You'll see the triads. They're in white and have clubs. Here they are. They're coming in to the train station, and they're starting to beat people. There's video. This is mild compared to some of the video that I've seen.
About 45 people actually had to go to hospital.
Yeah.
There's a man. He got hit at the Heaven's Steel Club.
What I was hoping is that we'd have the video of them beating the people inside the train car. All right, it went up the escalator. So yes. So because this is pretty mild compared to what I watched earlier today. So this is going on in Hong Kong, and we just wanted to mention this. Is the Hong Kong protests are they organic?
And the same thing going on with the Yellow Vest movement, man. Okay, over there in Paris, man. Then you got over there in Haiti, man. Okay, you got Jake's over there protesting because the president of Haiti is taking all the money, man. So this uproars of the people, man, is going on everywhere, man. Okay, this is uproars of the people, man. This is a part of prophecy, man.
Spontaneous, or are foreign powers organizing and directing the protest in Hong Kong? Because I'm not saying it is. I'm just asking a question. The United States and China are engaged in a very serious trade war, right? Plus,
Physical military showdowns
in the South China navigation in the South China Sea. So would the U.S., would the CIA instigate mass protest in Hong Kong, which Hong Kong is the shining jewel of China right now? Beautiful city, absolutely beautiful city.
Center of technology.
And we've been in in the downtown area where this is taking place. I can't even imagine what's happening there in downtown Hong Kong. So would foreign countries get involved in provoking a revolution?
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So you see these uproars of the people going on everywhere, man. Okay? This is all prophecy, man.
Inside Hong Kong.
Well, Rick, I always look at these and see who stands to gain. And there's an interesting law. It's a subsection, actually, of the mini constitution that Hong Kong has. It's called the Basic Law in Hong Kong. Article 18 of that constitution states that the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress, that's the main Communist Party in China, can decide Hong Kong is in a state of emergency on the grounds of turmoil that endangers national unity or security and is beyond the control of Hong Kong. Under such circumstances, according to Article 18 of the Basic Law, Beijing can issue an order applying the relevant national laws in Hong Kong. The short and skinny of that is Beijing can basically take over control of the city's governance. Ergo, Hong Kong would lose sovereignty.
Well, but the question is whether the China themselves would instigate some sort of turmoil in order to open that door, or if another power, a third power, let's say the U.S., clandestinely made some sort of agreement with the Triad organization to stir up the trouble, to force Beijing into a position where they have to clamp down and thus, engender any kind of trade negotiation. So we got just have our audience follow this. The mass protests in Hong Kong, they could be organic, spontaneous. I think they were up to a couple weeks ago. But there's the question is the basic logistics.
How do you get water to all those people?
How do you get bottles of water? How do you get all the supplies, to 1 million people out in the streets? Are they wearing color-coordinated clothing like the yellow vest in Paris and the orange revolution and so forth? Yeah. So that's the first question. Was a foreign power involved in assisting the protest?
Foreign powers always the elites control everything, man. This is all done by the elites, man. We all know that. Hey, I just want to show a few updated headlines in the news. So Lord's witness edifying. Gotta give our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakakodash. The honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone who well, who teach well, and a sincere salutation to all the ark pushing this truth by the four ends of the earth, waking up the hope for the elect. Shalom to the walk for listening and learning. Hey, this is all prophecy, man. The Lord's witness is edifying. Shalom.